Good morning, everyone. To kick off today's presser, we have an exciting announcement from Exalta and Alex Bowman here regarding a special birthday. So today, before we get to Alex, we're going to have a short video to watch.
Fun. You like the Hugh Hefner of NASCAR? Is that appropriate?
Tim Richmond enjoyed life. He wanted to have fun in everything he did.
I was always a big Tim Richmond fan.
Tim was probably one of the most talented drivers that I've ever seen. He could do anything with a car. Very first sponsor deal was a national sales meeting. The elevated door opens and he's got on a white suit with a pink shirt with sleeves rolled out. And I'm thinking, oh man, this is not going to be good. Alex reminds me a little bit of Tim in the car. He's, fearless. He likes to drive the car out of control.
I've kind of joked around about wanting to do a Tim Richmond throwback for as long as I've been driving for Hendrick Motorsports.
First time I saw the Polish paint scheme, I loved it. That red with the gold.
It was really like his most iconic car that he ran.
And I'm excited about seeing that paint scheme at Darlington because the last time it was there with Tim Richmond, he won the race. And Alex is on the roll now, so I'm waiting for Victory Lane in Darlington with that paint scheme.
I don't even need to talk. I mean, we just play the video. We're good.
Well, we just saw the unveil, so tell us a little about how that came about and what we'll see down there at Darlington.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I feel like everybody wants to be a little bit like Tim Richmond. So I think it's a really neat paint scheme. I think having Exalta willing to do that is really cool and bring those iconic colors back. It's really neat. The car looks great. The fire suit looks really cool as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. It would have been his 64th birthday today, so that's kind of why we picked to announce it today, and I'm excited about it.
Awesome. All right. If anyone has a question for Alex, please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation, and we'll get you a microphone.
You guys, way too many questions. Overwhelming. One at a time, please.
Come down here to Lee.
Lee Spencer, RaiseBoys.com. Just put in perspective how the last month has been for you after all the work and time that you've invested in this program.
Yeah, I feel like after last week, I'd just forgotten about how good the couple weeks before that were. But, we definitely have I feel like we've turned things around and had 4 or 5 really solid weeks there. And then really, we had a top 5 run going last week at Pocono and decided to get in a fight with Fourth Gear. So, I think we've just had such strong race cars, and it's made my job a heck of a lot easier. And, I think Michigan can be really good for us. It's a lot like Kansas, really high mechanical grip racetrack. Greg's from here, so it'd mean a lot to win here, and hopefully we can make it happen.
Down here
I
to
feel
Mike.
like you guys need like a crickets noise in the background to make it even better.
Mike, we'll get...
Mike from Auto Week. You're pretty solid in points right now. We don't have any crazy outliers with a win behind you. At this point in the season, you feeling pretty good about your standing?
I don't think you ever feel good about it unless you're winning races, but we're not bad. We don't have a huge buffer, but we've got a little bit of a buffer there, and we just got to find victory lane. That's really all I'm worried about. I'm not too concerned in the points. I think if we run well, they take care of themselves, and that's what I'm focused on doing.
Back there in the right.
Zach Tanzwetti, KickTheTires.net. When you look at a character like Tim and what he did during his short time in his career in NASCAR, does it really broaden your understanding of not only the characters that used to drive in the sport, but drivers who drove for Rick specifically?
Yeah, for sure. I think, Jesse Essex would have a heart attack if Tim Richmond was driving for Hendrick Motorsports right now. I think everybody in this room that's met him understands that one. But, no, I think it's he's definitely a character for sure. Obviously never met him or anything, but just hearing stories. There's a lot of people at HMS that worked with him or worked around him. So there's a lot of stories that get told, and it's pretty interesting. It's really neat. It's just somebody that if I was a race fan, that's who I would have cheered for. So I'm not I'm pretty introverted. I kind of stick to myself. I'm not like Tim in that sense. I'm not as outgoing and flamboyant as he was, but if I was a fan, that's who I would have cheered for, and it's pretty cool to get to run his paint scheme.
Go to right here. Reed.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire. So when did you first get familiar with Tim? And did you watch film, hear stories, and basically how did you get attracted to his story?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know initially when it was. Probably about the time I moved to North Carolina and just started kind of learning more about the stock car industry and NASCAR as a whole. As a kid, I really wasn't. I mean, I watched cup races, but I was more of like a sprint car and midget fan and knew all those guys and kind of learned about the history of that stuff. So when I moved to North Carolina and started learning about the history, and I had some friends who, one of my buddies that runs a midget during the winter, like he runs Rumble, Fort Wayne and stuff. He had like an old Tim Richmond fire suit that he always wore and stuff like that. So just kind of stood out, and obviously the 30 for 30 is really interesting, and there's a lot of interesting film, and coming to drive for Hendrick Motorsports just kind of tied the connection together a little bit more.
Go back down to Lee here.
I have a couple questions if everyone else is just going to hang out. You have any plans for the off week?
Moving my shop. So yeah, last off weekend I moved my house. This off weekend I'm moving my shop. So I just don't have fun. Maybe if we win this weekend, I think Kelsey has me busy on Monday morning. So if we win, she's gonna have me busy hungover. But no, I'll be moving. So not a whole lot of fun.
And on a question related to dirt, I don't know if you've been following Tanner Thorson this week, but after what he went through following that horrific crash that he was in, and for him to be leading the points for Indiana Midget Week and winning last night after breaking a leg, breaking a foot, breaking an arm, how incredible is that for a guy who is familiar with driving a midget?
Yeah, for sure. That's a pretty incredible story. I think obviously everybody's happy he's healthy again. That was really scary. That whole accident was really bad. I mean, you look at the pictures, the truck burnt to the ground, and I guess some of the details of him having to get out of the truck were pretty crazy. So really thankful that he's okay, and to come back third night back, you go win at Midget Week against, Larson and everybody that's really good in those cars. That's pretty cool. So really happy for him. It's cool to see him back driving for Keith and being successful.
Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Alex, I think you talked last week, you kind of thought, I think some other drivers thought that this weekend's race could be more like Kansas. So although there's certainly still some questions, and you'll find out when you get out there, but what are the things you're going to be looking for? What are the things that could make it like that? What are the things people should be looking for that might portend to that being like Kansas?
Yeah, I think just a high mechanical grip racetrack on both ends of the track, being able to be wide open, produces that Speedway stylish racing that we had at Kansas. Kansas has obviously widened out quite a bit more than this place. This place is really one groove and a half. So I think Kansas is the perfect place for this package. Here, I really hope that it'll be like that. The weather's kind of cool. If this place gets hot and slick, it's going to be tough. But I think being cooler, more mechanical grip in the cars, it's one of the best shots that this package has at creating what I think is the desired effect. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, our car was really strong at Kansas, and I think this can be a really good place for us. We brought pretty much the same thing back. So I think it can be really good. It'll be interesting. Maybe with the speeds being lower, the track widens out a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see.
Any final questions for Alex? No? Best
More
of luck this
crickets.
weekend, Alex.
Thanks,
Best of
guys.
luck.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it.